is taking a break for 3 or 4 years, goes on an amazing killing spree. So it's just absolutely crazy to see that little crack in their armor ends up being a big crack in their armor. They lost Inconceivable, they lost a straight.
Yeah, you make a great point about how in early rounds, sometimes you make small mistakes and have flag routes that maybe the flag gets recovered when it shouldn't, or you don't take control of the map the way you should. Those are mistakes that get taken advantage of in the later rounds by better teams and by top pro teams. And so like you said, you have a couple of cracks in the armor, and those cracks spread into big advantages, or I would say creases that teams actually like dig into.
So
and
you
take
have
advantage
no
of.
shield at all.
Exactly.
Much.
They find any little weakness your team has, and they dig at it and hit at it until you lose the game.
All right, so we're getting an update over on the side. Looks like Set to Destroy is up 2-1 over Panda Gaming, and that is continuing to take place on the featured station. But we're taking a look at Team Liquid right now. Calm, cool, and collected. Got the backwards hat bros. I feel like Penguin needs to have a hoodie on and have it up as well, and then they would be dropping their next album anytime in the next week or two.
I actually got a chance to talk to Tim Tinkler right there, Mr. Rain from this Liquid lineup at the NA Finals. It was good catch up with him. We both find out. I told him that I now live in Seattle area near him. We said we're gonna meet up. That hasn't happened yet, but we're gonna do that at some point. And he just said, he's loving grinding Halo. He feels like he has a great roster, and I can see him being in the scene for quite some time. I think he's only around 22, something like that, and being at this area of the scene, like this high up in the scene, is a good sign at that age. Yeah,
they've continued to just float around, and I don't know, Dave, what do you feel like in terms of your prime? What do you feel like that age was? And do you think that age had to do with it, or do you think that it was more or less the timing of everything?
I think age has a bit to do with it, more so in your kind of life priorities. In different
responsibilities.
Ways. Yeah, like you have different responsibilities at different times. You might have different priorities as you get older.
Yeah.
And I think that changes quite a bit. And also, I would say your love for the game in certain ways. Like at some point, you can be as motivated and grind as you want, but at some point, like I've gone through, I have different facets of each Halo that I liked a lot. Whereas like Halo 1, I loved, 2v2s. 2v2s in Halo 1 were near perfect. I love
1v1, 2v2, 3v3, 4v4.
You could play every sort of way on Halo 1, and then when Halo 2 came around, I really enjoyed the 4v4s more than I did in Halo 1's 4v4s.
Yeah,
especially
because host advantage was so big in Halo 1 too, where
because the whole team would have
it in
it,
Halo 2, but only one person had it compared to having 4 people have it as well.
But I think there's different aspects about like kind of fall in love with like your first Halo game in the series. Like some people started playing at Halo 1, some people started playing like around Halo 3, and a lot of times that first love you fall in with, you just kind of like, oh wow, like this game is kind of like the perfect vision you have of a Halo game. And I think going through multiple different Halo titles, I pick out different pieces I like from each sort of title, and at certain points like I might have frustration about something that like didn't register, or something about a certain weapon that maybe I didn't get the hang of fully in on a later Halo. And so I think at some point if you're being a pro gamer, it's kind of tough transitioning from game to game, as far as especially like being a Halo pro gamer. You think about Counter-Strike pros out there; they've played almost the exact same game for over a decade. Whereas
Every
Halo,
you have to so different.
Yep, absolutely
really
different.
It's a completely different game, and even though a couple of the things transfer over, like the mentality that you need to have and win and things like that, but yeah, completely different here. But one of the advantages, obviously. Truth, we saw Lunchbox and Roy, they won that game for Evil Geniuses. Do you think that had to do with all of that midship experience that they had previously?
It has to. I mean, that has to play into effect. They've been playing midship since Halo 2 and arguably have way more hours than any of the other members, I would say, in this whole tournament as far as when it goes to midship and Truth-like experience. So that had to play in effect. But end of the day, like you said, there's transferable skill from game to game. So you might transfer like 70% of what you need to be at the top, but that extra 30% is the difference.
That's true. Guys, I want to know what your favorite Halo game is. Put it in the chat, whether it's Halo 1, Halo 2, Halo 3, Halo Reach.
Or Halo 5.
Or Halo 5. Put it in the chat, guys. If you guys could see the smile on Dave's face right now. It's worth $1 million. But here we are moving in to Truth TS. And let's give a little love to Coach Fear itself over here.
Absolutely. I will jump on board with him as soon as I can find which screen is his. Oh my gosh, I will find it. Clicking. And there we go.
There it is, Fear itself. He couldn't get any closer to the game, otherwise he'd be in it. Always putting his forehead to the monitor to try to get as close as possible to the action. Made his way over towards P3. Can't find anybody there. There it is. Finds a one-shot and then immediately flies out towards P1.
Well, you know, he had his nose against the screen and sniffed out that person that pick one, Tom, and knew he was down there.
He did, and there it is. That was a nice play by Fear. But either way, that is not enough kills to get them in position of the pink tower. That's where they want to get to. Dynamic realizes that, so he's throwing a couple grenades to cut off some angles, trying to get some hit markers and make his way over towards pink. There's another player that's underneath the base, but they're just baiting and waiting for them to come out of red base and picking them off from east.
Yeah, and although it's only a 4-kill difference at the moment, we just see Liquid in such a better position because you saw 3 or 4 members of the Starboys over in red base stuck there.
So here's the positioning coming out from Liquid. Rain sitting here, P1, grabbing those plasma grenades. I wonder if he's going to push in here and collapse on the base, if they're going to try to rotate the spawns. Looks like they are. Penguin coming in with the kill. They're stuck over in the bubble area, I think. No, they're still underneath the base, so everybody was trapped over at blue. One player did spawn over towards red and made his way out. That's going to be nice shots by Fear itself, but Rain does get the trade. And Team Liquid looks like they have this one pretty much under control. Stellar getting a perfect over there onto Bane, and gotta love the way that Liquid's just spreading out on the map, Dave. So often we talk about controlling the amount of real estate on the map, and they're completely aware of making sure that they're not standing too close to one another.
Yeah, it's one of those signs where it's just Penguin, first off, getting that triple kill. Great shots by him across the map. But as you said, just awareness. They each, as individuals, are moving kind of across the map in strong positions, staying alive, and just dealing damage and knowing that they're getting a crossfire layer across the map. But what do you see in the bottom right corner of the screen, Tom?
I see one gold rec pack, but
I mean, that's not kind of what we called for.
Yeah, I don't know. But either way, guys, Contra 12, go ahead, redeem your code at halo.gg. We're just kidding over here. It's getting late. We're having fun. But this is just a dominating performance coming out from Team Liquid. And what do you do right now? I mean, if you're these guys on the blue squad, what's the strategy, Dave? How do you retake control here?
Well, I mean, if you're Fear itself, you maybe move your nose a little bit closer to the screen. But if you're any other member on that squad, you got to break out of those times when you're all spawning at a base. Choose a direction. Get some crossfire either towards bubble or towards pink side. And like you said, take up some more real estate across the map. You can't just get crossfire this entire time. Truth is about spreading out a bit and at least having a couple quadrants of the map so you can shoot across the map and then run around and get finishes.
And one of the big points that you need to try to retake control is getting control of some sort of power-up or a power weapon. And Penguin making sure that they do not get that. Top Gun. Double kill coming out from Penguin, looking for the triple kill. Can he find it? Nice shots on the Fear itself. Had a little bit of help there. Ends up leaving pink, so Rhino slides in there, but they're doubling the kills right now, and Team Liquid, they're feeling good.
Yeah, they're just absolutely dominant at the moment. At this pace, we will definitely see a stake here, but look at all this crossfire across the map. Eco, getting that EMP assist all the way for the top pick, and one of his teammates instantly shooting there. We just have Liquid this entire time focused on teammates' call-outs and helping each other out, always across the map.
Yeah, so we do have confirmation that it is a 2-1 series between Set to Destroy and Panda Gaming. Moving into game number 4, we'll continue to keep you updated. That is CTF Coliseum. Same game types as this series. We still are in round 1 of this championship bracket. If you missed the previous matches, Inconceivable took down Evil Geniuses 3-1 on the feature station. Straight up and taking down Allegiance 3-1 as well. But as we said, Liquid, they kind of got a little bit lucked out with this side of the bracket here. Meanwhile, on the side of Starboys, there's virtually nothing that you can do. You're going to be going up against one of the big dogs either way.
Yeah, and that's, like you said, there's a lot of great teams that came out of this open bracket, but Liquid's definitely not one of the teams you want to play against first round, and Starboys, I think that's a testament to the level of competition we have in this event. And Starboys is one of the lower teams that came out of the open bracket.
Yeah, and Starboys, again, they're really good individually. You're seeing some really good shots from these guys, but that's just a testament to how good Team Liquid has prepared for this event and how far strategies can go and just preparation. So, you know, you get into this series and mentally for Starboys, you're not thinking, oh, it's all is lost, but you know, there's almost nothing that you can do to beat Team Liquid except play the best Halo that you ever played, pretty much.
Yeah, their mistakes are all amplified, and it's just a tough situation, like you said, when one team is prepared so much better and so much more than your squad. You can't really replace practice. It doesn't matter how hyped you get. It doesn't matter how good an individual shot is.
Right.
It doesn't replace teamwork and communication that Liquid have been practicing for weeks and months.
Well, let's just touch base on the fact that Fear again was added last minute as the coach of Luminosity. One of the players, Domi, didn't show up on Starboys. Changes the entire dynamic. Now you have to explain everything to Fear. Maybe he's not comfortable with a certain thing and you have to change some things. But either way, just making it out of the AM bracket, that's great for them. Once they eventually, drop down to the other side of the bracket, they're going to start getting a lot more even matches. And they can take this and try to learn something from it. That's pretty much what this is try to copy something that Liquid may have done that worked really well, or just try to apply something that you felt you guys could have done a little bit better.
Yeah. I'm wondering how that talk went with Fear itself. They go, all right, Domi used to be able to run the flags, and Fear's like, whoa, hold up 1 second. What's the flag?
Seriously, what's the flag? And, Fear's doing pretty darn well. I mean, 14-10, both games, the only player on his team to go positive. As we run through these stats, you can see Rain sitting pretty 14, 10, and 8, and everybody on the side of Liquid going positive or at least even. Meanwhile, again, Fear itself, only person in positive digits for the Starboys.
Yeah, 40 assists for Team Liquid. 80% of their kills assisted there, Tom. And that's no surprise, seeing how many times you saw them cross-mapping, shooting every single player that was available.
Good math, Dave. Good math.
Great math. But no, it's just you just notice how every single time it seems like they'd be separated from their teammates on Liquid, but they would just be staying alive. And
I didn't see any 1v1s. I honestly can't recall a time where there was, an actual 1v1. I saw close 1v1s, but I saw some help coming in, maybe whether it was one shot or two shots, but that's what happens when you spread out so well, cover the line of sights, and just bait. As you can see, let's try to pay attention if in these replays we see any necessary 1v1s. This is one right here with Fear itself, and as we end up switching it. But as you can see, everybody's either weak or they're just helping one another.
Yep.
Even if it's just one or two shots, that helps you win that fight and keep control of Pink. That's huge.
Absolutely huge. It's so it's such a confidence boost when you're sitting over in Pink 2 and you see some shot fly across the map from Carbine side, hitting that person. You just realize, oh, wow, I only have to hit 4 pistol shots now.
Yeah, exactly. So now we move into Eden Strongholds here. Team Liquid from the red side. Red Eden Strongholds has always had an advantage. I feel like even though that they moved the overshield to the pit, it still does have a slight advantage. You can get that red BR, try to fight the guys that drop in front of blue base and kill them, or you can just elect to directly sprint, thrust, and just slide all over to the overshield and pick that up for not necessarily free. There will be a couple people contesting that one, but most of the time you're going to see the red team getting a huge advantage to start.
Now, I haven't gotten an update from the floor yet, but I can usually tell how Set to Destroy is doing based on the volume of their callouts and how they're screaming. So I'm almost certain we just saw Set to Destroy 3-1 Panda game. We'll get the exact update from the floor, but I'm pretty certain that's what just happened.
Yeah, and I think Naden's actually got a smile on his face because how hyped up Set to Destroy was. And you can see they're still clapping. They're still pumped up. And I'm glad that these guys succeed because I remember scrimming against these guys quite a long time ago, back when I was competing with my team, and they still had that same core of Blaze Burton and Tazoxic. And I released a video talking about how much respect I had for the fact that they stuck together and did it. And look at these guys taking down Panda Gaming, Set to Destroy, moving on to the next round with their 3-1 victory.
Yeah, it shows that you can stick together with a core group or a core duo and find that fourth that fits with your team. You are going to build up strats over time with your squad and just have this core foundation that you can have one other person just kind of join up and work out all the little errors that your team's making.
Yeah, and sometimes, if you can't find that fourth player, it can become, almost a backstabbing fest where it's like, oh, man, we can't find a fourth, so I'm going to go and join this other team, or I'm going to go and find a duo now. And they've overcome so much adversity, and it has to really feel good to take down that Panda Gaming
squad. Absolutely, all that hard work paying off.
Definitely. So, again, moving into Strongholds on Eden. Dave, let's get a score prediction for you going into game number 3.
I mean, that last game was nearly a stake. I'm going to have to say this one's going to be something along the lines of 100 to 130.
Wow, that's more than I had.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna say more like 115 or 20 because we're talking about.
But
yeah, there it is. The red team again getting overshield. Just a huge advantage. Penguin gets that one almost for free. Only has to dodge one grenade. Meanwhile, you saw them pick up a grenade kill and a melee kill for Stellar. So it does seem like they do have the camouflage, rockets, and overshield right now. So this is not the start that you want to have. But going back to the point, this game type takes so much communication, so much teamwork, so much strategy, everything from the opening strategy all the way to controlling setups to retaking setups. That's why I feel like this score is going to be lopsided.
Yeah, that's fair. I think I thought 130 was pretty a generous score for Liquid, but as you said, the kind of start that they've got and how organized you have to be on this game type, it could be worse in that favor. But you never know, too. Like, Starboys is one of the squads where I assume they could possibly get a great start. Maybe they're the ones that got control of overshield or rockets up the beginning.
It's hard from the blue side, though. It really is. It's hard for the blue side. One of the best things that you can do from the blue side, you know, to me, is probably get that control of the camo, and they weren't even able to do that. They gave up everything, and they gave up the strongholds, and look at that, results, and now a triple capture here for Team Liquid. And these are the scenarios that they've practiced so well, and they've even practiced so much where they've gone over their film from times where they've had triple setups against even the best teams in the world and found out why that didn't work. But for yourself, having a little fun, dropping the bag over there on the Penguin.
I mean, you gotta get your small victories where you can get them.
You got them.
You have to.
You have to feel like you won the tournament after that.
Absolutely. But yeah, at the moment, not looking too good for Starboys, especially when one of the more frustrating things here on Eden, or I'd say most stronghold game types, is when you get it about 90% captured, whether that has to be hit on Empire or Catwalk here on Eden, and then you just notice your teammate die, and they get the reset. That's such a huge swing.
Pretty much what just happened right there.
Yes, what happened there on Blue Bend or on Catwalk.
Perfect timing, Dave. I'm glad that you talked us up right to that moment. All planned or calculated, as Lunchbox would say. But there's the overshield sitting there, and I believe that the blue team was able to get that. Look at that. Starboys picking up 3 kills, trying to pick up some points and make this one somewhat respectable.
Yeah, we're going to have to see because they have a bit of a ways to go here. Fear itself, try and do some damage over security while simultaneously capping blue face. And we're going to have to see if he can get this double cap.
His teammate just naded him.
All right, they're at least getting on the board now. Here
they are.
So they got Red Nest and Blue Bend and going for that Catwalk side. However, camo is in the hands of, I did not see which member, but either way, Fear itself was taken down. We have camo in the hands of Liquid. We're going to see how long this capture lasts in the hands of Starboys.
Yeah, I think that Dynamics was expecting his teammate to go in there and get a reset, wasn't expecting 2 players to come in there. Now he's going to have to win a big 1v1 and make sure that he doesn't get ground pounded, because this is an area where he can just fly outside a blue flag and just go right for that kill. But it seems like Penguin was the man that he needed to take out, and Penguin went in front of the base instead, so he got a little bit of help there. Now looking for the player that's hiding Red Nest, but no, he's not in Red Nest. He's in Red Flag. Probably made his way from SMG over towards outside instead, doing whatever he can with the mechanics Halo 5 to stay alive and keep his shields. Nice job being a distraction. Excuse me, I'm choking over here. Dynamic does get that kill with the assault rifle, and Dave, can they rack up 15 more points?
I'm hoping so. I'm hoping my prediction's the one that's a little closer. If we're doing Price is Right rules, you're about to lose in 1 second, Tom.
Oh, no. Price is Right, my favorite game of all time besides Halo. No, I'm serious. I love the Price is Right.
No, but for real.
But here it is, Dave. It looks like you're 10 points away from being victorious, and I think that I will have to take the pie in the face after this series. But how did that feel, by the way?
Not so good. Definitely not so good.
Did you have to like shower ASAP?
I actually tossed the shirt I was wearing. The pants I had, there's still like stains in it. I have to take it to dry cleaner or something else different. So it was a costly affair. If I get to do it to strong side, I'm probably gonna like smear it on a suit jacket or something like that.
What are these creamy stains all over your pants? The dry cleaning lady's just scratching her head. But either way, this one getting out of control pretty quickly. I don't know if they're going to be able to even get another stronghold here and capture any more points. I think they're going to be stuck over here at 23.
And that's about as close as we can split the difference as possible. You know
really
what I mean?
is.
8 away from 15 and 7 from my 30. So we are super close here to both our predictions. Just had to split the difference.
Pretty much. And Team Liquid, I got to say, I mean, this is a nice little confidence booster moving in. Yeah, they did luck out with the bracket, but any type of, the less resistance, the path of less resistance, I feel like will favor Liquid here.
Yeah, it gives them a chance to get ready for this event. Like, sure, they've been warming up on side stations and preparing that way, but at the same time,
oh my gosh, Dave!
If
you are 1 second away.
Oh, I would have been so proud. I would have been so happy.
Man, that would have been great.
The whole point I was going to bring up is this is kind of, I wouldn't say Liquid's wake-up call, but this is kind of like their warm-up match, it feels like. There's sometimes where you're going to go to the side stations, warm up and get ready, but until you actually get into a real live tournament match,
you never know. You never know, really. I mean, so there it is, Team Liquid with the hot 3-0 as expected. I'm going to go through and scroll the stats, and you're going to laugh at this. 3-12-9 for Eco, but doesn't really matter when you have everyone else just going off. 12-10-15 for Rain. Rain was at the top of the scoreboard the last game as well. 15-4-8 for Penguin. Stellar 13-6-9. Everyone pretty evenly matched on the blue team.
No one really going just so many more assists on the Liquid side. It shows that they have confidence where their members are staying alive in certain areas where it seems like Starboys just are almost forced to challenge. They realize that help is going to come faster for Liquid, so they need to challenge every fight they possibly can.
Of course. That's why you want to try to make your screen look as easy as possible, and that's why it's just such a pleasure to watch like the players like Boo Boo Doo Boo, or even Demon D today was playing very, very smooth. His screen has always been very calm, cool, and collected. A snipe down screen is always a very cool, calm screen to watch. But then you switch it on over, and even players that are just as good, Hook, for example, crazy screen when you watch him, constantly moving a million miles an hour, YYing every single grenade that he throws. So it's very interesting to see that the mix of players that these guys have. But Team Liquid, this isn't going to show necessarily how they're going to do in the next round. We'll see how they stack up against another pro team. Then we're going to be able to see what these guys are made of.
Yeah, and I'm sure whenever we do go to the analyst desks that we will get a breakdown of the bracket and see kind of what their upcoming matches are. So it'll be interesting to see not only who we have going on in the winner's bracket and taking on each other, but also in the loser's bracket fighting for their tournament life.
Yeah, I can't wait to see how these brackets are going to unfold. And I mean, there's just so many good teams here. And now that we have a team like Set to Destroy coming out and upsetting, I'm curious to see what other 8 AM teams are going to come out. Obviously, Allegiance and Inconceivable, too. So we're looking at 11 very, very strong teams, and that's not even including the other 3 to 4 teams that could easily make themselves into that argument.
Yeah, there is no guaranteed set order at this event for sure. There's a few teams, like I feel like Optic and Envy are kind of in that top tier, but outside of that, there's a few squads that can still fight and possibly even give them a challenge.
Taking a look at some of these replays, you can see just complete control for Team Liquid. It started once they got the rockets, overshield, and camo. They never let up the entire time. I was even impressed that they were even able to break the triple setup coming out from Starboys. But we'll see how Starboys can match up in the losers bracket against a team that's a little bit more evenly matched. Keep in mind, we touched base on it twice, 3 times already. Fear itself coming out of retirement here to compete in the event. He wasn't originally planning on competing, just coaching Luminosity. One of the players from Starboys didn't show up, and they still had a great run through the amateur bracket. They got to be feeling good about themselves, even though they did lose that series.
Yeah, absolutely. So great job by Starboys, like being able to bounce back from a roster they've been practicing with for so long and still going this far. And they're not out of it yet. They can easily bounce back, beat some of these teams that have gotten knocked down to the loser bracket. Teams like Panda, they might have to play someone like EG. There are a lot of rosters down there that they have a chance against. So we're gonna have to see how they play in some of these later rounds. But I'm most specifically interested in watching some EG matches later because they had a tough first round. Inconceivable, I would argue.
We don't know how Inconceivable is. They could. Yeah. Who knows if they're the third best team? We don't know.
They could even give Envy or Optic run for the money with how well they're playing.
You never know, honestly. I mean, Optic and Envy, I feel like when you asked me the question of who benefited from all the team changes,